mean?
Hey.
I'm hopeful, regardless of the outcome. Boost the positive energy without one. Sorry about the jab, I'm on a holy field. I'm bearing fruit, but demons try to eat them like Yoshi meals. I'll piss them off the Batman like Falcone deals. Jungle full of predators, I know how Mowgli feels. So I got the fire, refuse to live in fear. I can spot suppliers, eating fresh drugs. Call me privately.
Oh yeah, welcome to episode 263 of the Permaculture Pimpcast, where pimp stands for permaculture is my passion. The only pimpcast on planet Earth where we discuss permaculture, preparedness, and practical living. How you doing, honey?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. This episode is always brought to you by Hickory Ridge Soap from TwoOldCrowsHomestead.com.
Turn that simp into a pimp.
Bam. What's so funny? What on earth is so funny right now?
Steve said, Billy, are you doing Star Wars cosplay?
No, this is called representing, Steve. That's what this is called.
I told him I can't do the podcast because I can't take him seriously.
I was in here. I had the hat on, kind of like, for those that can't see, I'm wearing a Redemption Shield hat. Gina's going to talk about it when she gets on here, I'm sure. But anyway, I had it on here, and
goodness.
It's longer at the top, so it was looking like, and stand by. It looked a little like that.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I had it off to the side like that, and no, that is honestly funny though.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Michelle. Yeah. So this show just went sideways right there. So I want to thank everybody for coming in right now. But we're going to have Gina on tonight from Redemption Shield, and she's going to be just in time for the holidays. She's going to be giving away a lot of stuff. And I'm representing. Every time it's cold outside, I'm wearing this hat. So I just thought I'd wear it. And as the kids say, represent in. Is that two words or just one? Represent in or representing? I don't know which. Anyway, this show is also brought to you by, here's a new advertiser. You may not have heard of them, but you're probably going to hear about it now. And that's the Living Soil Foundation, or Living Soil Foundation. It's basically the foundation we started to pay for the testing and honestly the remediation of what's going on right here in Western North Carolina. Things are bad. I mean, if you saw the show we did a little while ago, well, you don't have to go far. But anyway, I don't have anything to sell you over there, just goodwill. And I want to give a massive shout out to all the people that have given so far. Thank you so much. And we promise we're going to show you where your money's going. And I think you're going to be overwhelmed and overjoyed when you see where it's gone. In fact, be putting out a video maybe tomorrow or the next day with the bakers, the bakers that were feeding people by candlelight in Nashville, West End Bakery, and give you an update on what they did with the money you donated. So I think it's important not to just donate the money, y'all, but also to show you as a consumer, y'all, and I know it's got to be an aggravation for everybody else out there too, but it is one of my biggest aggravations to not see my money or to buy something and not get what I paid for. Well, I think you're going to get more dividends on your money than you ever imagined. And keep in mind, we're doing this for the glory of God. That's exactly what we're doing it for. We're not going to profit out of this. And your money's going to go right where it's supposed to, like all of it. Yeah, there won't be any, what's that chick's name? Lacey.
Spending it on cigarettes and alcohol.
Yeah.
For mental health issues.
Yeah. Stephanie, I talked to Stephanie a while back, and she's, you got to love Stephanie, man. She came down on her like Thor's hammer. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a grifter rolling through here. A dummy got on YouTube, told everybody what she's doing. And then there was this one guy that decided to double down. And anyway, she's over here claiming she's doing all this stuff. Not a single bit of evidence that she had been doing it. I did a video just kind of saying, hey, here's my take on it. You know what? Stephanie's right on point. We got out of there. Yeah. What was your first impression? You smelled booze, didn't you?
Well, I did. I thought I caught a whiff. The wind was blowing that day. And I was like, the wind blew. And I was like, man, is that alcohol I smell? But then I was like, I walked up to somebody and I was like, oh, I don't smell it on them. So I thought maybe I was just like, I don't know, maybe I was wrong. But then Stephanie was like, she smelled alcohol on her. And I was like, oh, I did smell alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't have a problem with somebody drinks, but
And not maybe not at 11 o'clock in the
May-
morning.
maybe not operating chainsaws either. Yeah. So anyway, there was all kinds of red flags. We rolled out of there. I'm like, hold on, this girl looks almost like she was in disguise. Yeah, so we took a lot of footage of her, but we didn't air any of it because we had some red flags there, and we've been burned before. As some of you have been around for a while, you know about those things. But anyway, I want to remind everybody, thanks everybody for coming in the chat. Oh, Bill Zegley's in his house. I want to thank everybody for coming in. And like I said, we're going to have another massive giveaway. I think she's going to be giving away 10 things tonight. So we'll get to her in a little bit. When I say her, Gina from Redemption Shield does a lot of great work and makes these little hats that I'm wearing right now. Like I said, every day it's cold, I'm wearing it. Yeah, for a whole variety of reasons that I'll let Gina explain when she gets on. Michelle, if you see some interesting comments rolling in, by all means, jump in if it feels appropriate.
Okay.
But anyway, this is going to be a busy week for me, y'all. We got I'm going to be broadcasting live every single day this week, and hope they don't take me off, because tomorrow night I'm going to have Pat and Dr. Will back on. As many of you know, and I know there was a lot of people that were disappointed. Oh, Bowen's in the house. I want to apologize to a certain extent. I mean, some of it was out of my control when we did that little round table. First of all, we had way too many people on there, number one. And number two, yeah, there was a couple of, anyway, we had a couple of glitches from Dr. Will, and it wasn't his fault. They basically, as soon as we started talking about ways to cure yourself or ways to get this stuff out of you, all of a sudden his feed dropped and we couldn't get him back on, so we couldn't talk about it, which was probably a good thing, because I don't know how many people can listen to a 3-hour podcast or could stay on that long. So probably worked out for the best. So I haven't yet decided whether or not we're going to try to do that on X, because they wouldn't let us go the last time. We tried getting on X when we did that little round table.
Yeah, it was a fiasco. Hey, Darren and Patty, Hacks for the Homesteader.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Darren and Patty? So, yeah, go check them out and subscribe, y'all. So, yeah, the bottom line is Dr. Will was going to drop some, and folks, honestly, it's like that thing when I had Jonathan Otto on, he said 2 words and they scrubbed the entire feed and gave us like a warning. Okay. So next time they kick us off for a while. So I don't know if this is something we should even do on YouTube, but we're going to try to do it anyway. And hopefully these guys can talk in between the raindrops. Folks, you're going to have to use your imagination if you're watching on YouTube. We don't yet. I'm not crazy about Rumble as a channel because it's so freaking glitchy. Anybody that says Rumble's a free and it's the place to be, well, go check out the Dollar Vigilante. Watch his videos and watch what happens to you. All of a sudden, it'll be glitchy. You can watch Dan Bongino all day long, but the second you put on Dollar Vigilante, it's glitchy. You put on Crow House Official, which is Max Egan's channel. You can't even find it unless you put it in there. And then when you do, every 2 seconds or every 2 minutes, there's an ad. So Rumble isn't the free speech platform everybody thinks it is, and neither is X. And let me tell you about that one. We tried to broadcast live on X, and they wouldn't allow it. Check this out. CL, a friend of mine, she basically sent our video that we did of the testing results over to Ann Vandersteel, intrepid reporter. She was basically the one that just dropped that massive report of the FEMA camps over in Candler, North Carolina. And she tried to post it. I don't even know how many times that whole thing got reposted, and then all of a sudden it got taken down. So she said she's going to try to. I talked to Ann Vandersteel today. In fact, she's going to be in. I don't know if she's going to be in studio with me on Friday or whether or not we're going to do it remotely, but I know she's coming back up to North Carolina, and I want her to promote the documentary shit that she's going to put on and donate the proceeds, obviously, to what's going on up here, because Lord knows we're not getting any help from anywhere. Folks, you don't even know how bad it is for some of these folks up here. And I'm trying to find a tasteful way to capture their story without looking like some, I would love to be able to capture their story and let the world know about it without making it a gratuitous vulgarity. You know what I mean? How many people go out there, they do this? I mean, there was one guy that Stephanie was in conflict with, and he's spending 10 seconds before the video even starts fake crying, the whole 9 yards. Look, I don't do that. I don't roll that way. And so if there's a tasteful way of telling you what these folks are actually going through, Darren and Patty from Hacks for the Homesteader, man, we all shared a property one particular time, man. We lived in just a step up from tents at one point. So we know what it's like to live in those conditions, but we were doing it not because the house blew away, but because we had bigger ideas in mind, So it's entirely different when this is the way you elect to live as opposed to a way that you have to live, because everything you have is quite literally gone. So anyway, we're going to be talking about health solutions with Dr. Will and Pat, and that's going to be on Tuesday, hopefully on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed on X, y'all, that's where I'm going to try, even though I just kind of ran them down a little bit, I'm going to use them until I can't. Okay. So any news that you need to know, I know that everybody doesn't always get the feed on YouTube in terms of what we have going. So I'm going to try to use X for that. I'm new to that platform, and I'm a dummy already when it comes to anything technical. I mean, it's all I can do just to make a phone call on this thing or listen to a podcast. That's about the full extent of what I'm able to do with my phone half the time. So any news, go check us out on X, Perma Pastures Farm. Go subscribe over there, and I'll give you the heads up over there because I'm not so sure everybody sees everything in the community section of YouTube. So, and then Wednesday, talking more health solutions from a lady named Jack. She's basically putting on this Shalom Temple 5-day immersion event. Darren and Patty, y'all might want to come out here for this. I'll come to that in a minute as far as when that's going to happen. But Jax, she's going to be talking health solutions, natural health solutions. Look, I'm going to be bringing on people, folks, that might very well contradict one another, but I'm counting on you as an intelligent person. You're listening to this podcast, right? Oh, excuse me, Pimpcast. You're listening to this Pimpcast, so I know you're not the garden variety hoople-headed person running up and down these roads looking for the next rock star to find or whatever. You're not that person. So I know for a fact that if these people have conflicting information, you just have to cut and paste what works for you. So you're going to hear things from Dr. Will and Pat that, absorb what's useful. That's what Bruce Lee used to say, absorb what's useful. So Jax is going to be talking about a lot of natural healthcare solutions and why you ought to check out this 5-day event. We're going to be there. And in fact, I'm even going to be doing a workshop there on how to remediate your property, which honestly never saw the good Lord put me in this direction. But I'm here to tell y'all, if my feet are on this road, you better believe I'm going to be sprinting after it. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. And then people are always wondering I had a person say, I'm unsubscribing. I can't believe you're wearing an Apple Watch. Well, folks, this ain't an Apple Watch, okay? It's barely a watch. It puts solfeggio tones and a number of other tones in my body. Let's say you're a person that deals with anxiety. I've been wearing this thing for months now, and people they've raked me over the coals. You're going to find out from the inventor, a lady by the name of Linda, who invented this watch that I'm wearing right now, that you might want to know about. Like I said, this is healthcare week for the most part. That's exactly what I'm going to be covering all week. Well, Linda's going to come on here. Linda Bambert is her name, and she's going to explain this watch and what it does and see if whether or not you want one. Because honestly, Michelle, is there a day of the week I don't wear it?
No.
How many times have you worn it?
Stolen it? Yeah. Well, you don't let me wear it anymore. So
got that right. You got to get your own. No, I mean, if she's in pain or something, I'll let her wear it.
If I'm in pain, that's.
Well, we had to take you to the hospital. You said this was the only thing that was helping.
Yeah, and then I took it off, and
and then the pain came back.
No, the pain never left. It got really, really bad after.
And why didn't you tell me to give you the watch back? Really? Okay, yeah, that's a whole nother story unto itself. But we were under some spiritual attack and a lot of other things that were going on at that time. But anyway, that's going to be on Thursday, and then Friday, the intrepid reporter Ann Vandersteel, the one who's been dropping tactical nukes about what's going on around here. Thor in the doors into his house.
Stray Kitten says she's unsubscribing because you're wearing those headphones, those lavender headphones, like the Homestead twins call them.
Lavender? What color is this anyway? This is purple.
It's lavender.
Yeah, well, look, I see primary colors, man. If it ain't blue, yellow, green, I don't know what chartreuse looks like. I mean, I don't know. It's mauve. What is that? I don't know what color that
Those
is.
curtains out there.
Okay, I don't know what that is. It's either red, blue, green, yellow. If it is not a primary or secondary color, I don't know what it is. Okay. Yeah, somebody says lavender. I'm going to call it lavender. Sounds a little more, yeah, it sounds like I'm part of the getocracy. But anyway, y'all, this is definitely Healthcare Week. You're going to hear some contradictions from some people. Jonathan Otto is going to be in here. Hopefully, I didn't double book. I know I got him lined up maybe the following week. Hopefully, this time we won't get banned off of YouTube or do a video there. But anyway, if you do want to see the one we did with Jonathan Otto, where can they find it?
On Rumble.
Yeah, check it out on Rumble. So that's going to be the place to do it. All right, so got a whole lot going on around here, and when I say a whole lot, y'all, and I keep adding more to it. I keep booking more and more and more and more. Yeah, so it's crazy. It's getting crazier, and I feel like I got to do it because we're not getting any help here. A lot of the folks are in some serious pain right now. And you hear what Grandma Zoo said? Leave Billy alone. There you go. That's right. Yeah, leave me alone. Yeah, I don't know what, Amy, I can't even read it, y'all. Between these birth control glasses and this hat,
She said the hat and the headphones look white on her TV, on their TV.
There you go. It's not lavender at all. It's not lavender at all. So anyway, I got to get some better headphones, and I know you do as well. So, man, I don't even know where we start. So let's just start right here. Okay, so you might have seen the video we did just lately. I know we got a lot of new people on board because of it. And folks, once again, it's been our policy at this farm. We never present a problem without providing at least 2 solutions to it, okay? So what are the solutions? And you might want to take some of this home, y'all, because when Dr. Will did his scalar testing around here, the whole flipping region is polluted. I mean, some obviously worse than others, but especially down by that river, y'all, it is absolutely awful. Now, the idea with the Living Soil Foundation, the reason we started that foundation, number one, we want all the money to go exactly where it's supposed to go, so we're going to manage that. And number two, we're trying to reach out as far as we can and as wide as we can to help as many people as we can. But we have got to have, this is where a lot of folks are missing the boat, man, and this is a big thing. A lot of people mean well around here, but I'm like, is anybody going to get any soil samples? How do you know if what you're doing is working? How do you know? I mean, if you're relying on the government for the test results, you get the results we got, which basically said what? Everything was all clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the results we got, the results that Mountain True came out with.
Yeah. So it was Mountain True. It was all these others. And then I do find it curious, and I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. For all the people that are doubting my integrity, first of all, look, I didn't just step out of the cotton fields, man. Do you really think I would just make some numbers up out of thin air? That's exactly why I had 3 different sources on live. 3 different sources. Because, you know, I wanted it to be unimpeachable. And then the one we paid for, like I said, it's not cheap, but that's precisely why we had them on there and we got the goods. But I do find it curious. All the people that are reaching out to her and me saying, well, I need to see, first of all, you might want to say, please, you didn't pay for these. Like they said in Friday, you didn't put in on this, man. You didn't pay for these results. So what makes you feel like you're entitled? Second of all, could you ask nicely? How many people have written saying, give me those results?
Yeah, there's been a few.
Yeah. No. You ask like that, only thing you're going to get are these NUTs. How about that? Because you ain't getting the results. I mean, first of all, you have got to be polite about how you ask this. You might want to ask, not demand. Second of all, if we do give any results out, and we have to some, it will be redacted. We have got to keep the name of the lab that did this work. Do you have any idea how hard it was to even find a lab that would give us honest results? Folks, if you think you live in a free country, I got news for you. Can't send it off to a university because all of them work at the behest of whom?
Yeah, the government.
Yeah. Yeah. Or big pharma.
Or big
big
corporations who they're not going to fund studies that are not in their best interest. So a lot of this stuff is not in their best interest. They have too much pressure from too many corporations, too many corporations that are making money in this area to have that disturbed. It's not, there's already some stuff going on in this area that I'm learning more and more about every day. And if you think that the information is getting out, it's just they're not going to do anything about it because they're making too much money.
Yeah, well, we're about to feed them all one giant crap sandwich because number one, going back to what we were talking about a moment ago, we don't provide problems. And that's why, honestly, the video I had with Dr. Will, the short I put out, I sat on that for 2 weeks before I put it out. And then when I saw kids playing down by that river, I was like, I know full well that, man, they are going to come down on me like a ton of freaking bricks. We have got to have additional testing. I want it so unimpeachable that nobody can fire holes at this. That's exactly why we presented 3 tests at one time, so nobody could ever say, oh, well, that was just one test that contradicted what Mountain True and the newspaper that reported it, what they said. No, it was going to be absolutely unimpeachable, and that's exactly what we did. So going back to the remediation thing, we're going to start doing a series. I don't know, maybe we want to create a playlist on YouTube of it, because I got a feeling a lot of other people are going to need this information. In fact, I'm sure of it, in terms of how do you remediate what you have. Well, first of all, you got to have a test. That's where everybody around here who's doing this work is missing the boat. To my knowledge, we're the only ones that have paid for tests. And we paid for this test, what was it? Almost 6 weeks after the actual incident happened, and the numbers were still that doggone high. Okay, now that we got that done, now we're going to talk about remediation. So this is where, once again, we're using our compost extract. It's like the good Lord. I remember Darren telling me from Hacks from the Homesteader years ago when we all went on this journey together. I remember him saying, I don't know if even Darren remembers saying it to me, but I remember him saying once, and I was reminded of it again just recently, where he said, it's like everything I ever done in my life, all this, I worked here for a while. I did this for a while. I did that for a while. Had no idea it all led me to where I'm going right now, where we're going together. I didn't realize that. And then now here I am doing this remediation, and I had zero. I mean, honestly, folks, I was perfectly content to go out here, manage my property, which, by the way, is being neglected right now because it's more important that we help save lives out here. And the real truth of it is, we got to put a foot forward on this. Look, I got a roof over my head, and some of these folks are down by that river, living in tents, living in RVs. And first of all, by a river in the winter ain't exactly a warm place, if you know what I mean. Those microclimates there just kill you. So we're using a number of test sites to find out what exactly works best. And we're using a variety of protocols. And part of the reason we were working with other people, the reason why we decided to walk this road alone is because I knew that I would be doing things and I would probably be causing a little bit of controversy in terms of these test results and a number of other things that we're into.
Results and the solutions.
Right. That were likely going to be controversial to people that don't know better. And I'm not talking about the people I'm working with, but would honestly bring a ton of bricks down. When you do a video like we did the other day, you don't get positive attention in most cases, but I will say that you folks are great, man. A lot of folks, yeah, Darren says he does remember it. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So here I am. I'm like reliving what Darren told me years ago. I mean, that's been years and years ago. Where it's like all the different things in my life have kind of led me up to do something. And I think I know to a certain extent what Gideon might have felt like. I remember actually went through that today in Judges as I was doing my Bible study this morning. I was going through there and I'm like, I can absolutely relate to all these guys where God reaches out to them and they tell them, I got this mission for you. And then they kick and scream. And because I'd always thought, man, if God told me to do something, I think I'd be on the first thing smoking.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, though, especially like Darren being in Kansas, I studied, my research was on reclaiming old mining sites. like the lead, the zinc mining that occurred in the four
You're
corners.
talking when you were at University of Kansas.
Right, at KU. So my point is, like, there's a background in this, but also this contamination is not anything new. There are sites all over this, like old mining sites all over the United States, where corporations have just dumped the waste and left it for the communities to clean up. So, I mean, we're not the only ones. There's also Superfund sites all over the United States that need to be cleaned
Tell
up.
everybody, I mean, a lot of folks, when you said that before, didn't know what that meant. What is a Superfund site?
A Superfund site is a site, typically, like, for example, it can be an area that a corporation has mined, where they have left, a lot of times they'll leave what's called tailings, which is just remnants from mining. So a lot of times they'll leave these, and a lot of times it's heavy metals that they leave in this big pile, and it just leaches out in the water. The dust blows it around. Like in Kansas, there's a lot of the kids play in the soil, and they have learning disabilities because there's lead in the soil. So it becomes a Superfund site because the EPA has to, at that point, clean it up.
Yeah, which they never really do. And that's where we come in. So here it is. We basically got a toxic mess down there. And there's a lot of people living. Here's the thing that blows my mind. The folks that are most central to this seem to be, and this is always historically the case, they always seem to be the ones that are least willing to hear the information of how dreadful it actually is in some areas. Yeah, in a perfect world, they need to get out of there. But guess what? These are my kind of people. These are people that live hand to mouth. They can't just pack up and get on the first thing smoking and going down the road. And it ain't like your Uncle Sam's helping out because they're too busy giving $1 billion to African countries and to murder people in Ukraine and everywhere else on this planet. But we can't seem to break bread for the people over here that are actually in this country. You know, we got soldiers, ex-soldiers, Marines, airmen, you name it, all sleeping on the streets right now. And somehow we got billions and billions to hand over for war, but we don't have any for recovery or to help these folks out in any way. I honestly don't know why anybody's paying taxes at this point. And, I'll be doing everything I can to avoid doing it. But, folks, that's not how we roll. So the idea is we're going to provide this solution. Here's how it's going to go down. We already started step one out there. We got multiple other sites. Some of them are going to be clandestine because I don't want people to know about them. All we need is some lunatic to go out there, and I ain't even going to say what, but just go out there and destroy things. And then we're back at square one. So we got multiple sites in which we're doing these tests. This is the one that's public, the one you know about. And so we got to pay for testing, and it is not cheap to find out whether or not we hit the finish line on the remediation. I'm working with Dr. Will with some of his extremophiles, and I'm working with other people that wish to not be named at the present moment. And we're bringing everything to bear right now. Our knowledge in soil, our knowledge in, how to make this biocomplete compost, our knowledge in a number of ways, and then bringing in the other specialists, we'll call them, regarding other things. Now, there's a lot of other people that seem to think, let me just put biochar down and that'll get it done. Michelle, will that get that done?
No, it's not going to do. Biochar is great for what it's great at, but it doesn't. There's no remediation going on. It's not going to do anything to the toxins that are in the soil.
Biochar is basically, first of all, there was micronized biochar in what I sprayed out there. I didn't go through everything that's in it right now because, like I said, it could be a little bit controversial, even though when I say controversial, this is stuff you could actually drink. That compost extract I sprayed out there, it would probably improve your health if you drank it. I kid you not. Fulvic acids, humic acids, all these wonderful things. Am I going to bob for apples in there? No, but I mean, and they'll tell them what kind of particulates are rolling up in there. But the cool thing is that as we go through this and we find out what works, we're going to be able to, we're going to try to scale this up in a way to where we can just, I mean, I don't even know how to scale this up yet. That's where I'll probably be reaching out to Darren to help me figure out some way to be able to scale the whole operation up. But I got to have proof that what we're doing works. And that's exactly what that site is meant to do, and the other ones as well, because to call it science, it's got to be replicated. It can't just be a one-off like, oh, we hit the finish line here. No, I got to have multiple areas. That's why we're doing it that way, because you can't call it science unless it's replicated. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. So it looks like we have a lot of different irons in the fire right now. And like I said, this is not the path I intended my life to go. But with your degree in environmental science and, my background in composting and all these other things, I would have never in a million years thought that we would be in the middle of what we're doing right now. And honestly, there's this love-hate relationship that we're seeing from some of the people in the community regarding, oh, why did you put all that fear out there? No, this is called, forgive my use of the word, but it's called truth. You didn't have a problem. You ever notice we only doubt the positive things? We never doubt the negative. Think about it, y'all. The thoughts that come into your mind, you never doubt those. You never question, oh, I'm worthless or whatever you may think about yourself. You never have doubts about those thoughts, but you always doubt the things about, man, I've really, you know what? I am beautifully and wonderfully made. You ever think about that?
Yeah, it's just it's the people that people doubt is what kills me. Like the people or the corporations or the government that has continuously lied to you, your first instinct is to believe them, but then the people that are presenting, it's the people that present information that you don't want to hear. Well, I don't want this all to be happening, but it is. So I can either pretend it's not, or I can actually fix it so that these kids are not playing in a toxic waste dump. I cannot. I have never been one of those persons that just, well, if I just pretend, then it'll all go away. Like to have kids playing in this soil, knowing that it's as toxic as it is just, I can't not do anything.
Well, that's exactly where that's where we come down to solutions that are going to be highly uncomfortable for so many people out there. Look, I knew that people would want to kill the messenger when it, so to speak, maybe not literally, but I figured people would come down on us like a ton of bricks. And of course they are, and they're going to keep doing it. But hey, hit me with your best shot, because at the end of the day, I got the goods. I mean, I got the evidence.
But there's also people that I am very appreciative of who have presented more information about other stuff that is going on around here that also needs to get cleaned up.
Amy just said in the chat there a little bit ago, and folks, I really want you to consider what she said here. And I'm going to paraphrase it because it's already gone by. But she said, citizen scientists are responsible for so much. Think about it. Everybody says, well, that person's a PhD or he's an MD or she's a, whatever, these titles. All right. Or so-and-so has a degree in history. Well, where was the degree in history for Philo and Josephus? Okay. Did Moses have a history degree? Where is the PhD for people like Edison, people like Tesla? All these people that have done the most consequential things in history were not PhDs. They were, believe it or not, they were tinkerers. They were people that solved big time problems in their garage. The guy who ran a car on water, of Stanley Myers, of course, they murdered him. What was he? A tinkerer. Look at that video that came out by Dr. Stephen Greer. I know he's usually associated with UFOs and stuff, but he did this thing. You can find it on Amazon Prime or something like that. I bought it a while back. And he's basically going down all of these people, every last one of them, dead in the graveyard because they came up with something that the petroleum industries didn't like. Whether it was a guy that came up with a car or tires that could go for 10,000 miles and not lose any tread, Or another guy who had a car running on water, like the Stanley Myers I was just telling you about. Another guy, a bunch of guys actually, and he cites all of them that had, what was it? Like a little box about the size of a matchbox that was running like, I don't know, 30, I'm going by memory here, but basically a little matchbox that was basically running somewhere in the neighborhood of about, what was it? I don't know, 8,000 watts. I mean, all of this free energy that exists, that's already out there.
The energy corporations do not want that to get out.
People like Ed Lee Skolnick, who basically created Coral Castle down in Florida, built this entire thing. The guy knew how they built the pyramids, and he built Coral Castle that way. Go look it up. Coral Castle down in Florida. One guy did this, moved all these stones around, and to this day, nobody knows how I did it. I got a hypothesis on that. But the point being, the overarching point here is that we seem to think that we have to worry about titles or an MD. You notice all the people that are coming on this week, not one of them is an MD. And by the way, MD doesn't stand for medical deity. Not one person coming on this week. But you know what? It wasn't an MD that cured high blood pressure for me. It was a guy. Okay, I'll just leave it there. You know, the other issues I've dealt with, it was a naturopath. It was never, or it was a person like Jax who just understands the human body and knows natural ways to heal yourself. It's people like that that have done the most good in this world. So anybody out there that's, dismissing whatever because, you don't have a PhD. If anything, honestly, I've worked around a lot of MDs and a lot of PhDs. And honestly, no offense to the good ones out there, but most of you are intelligent idiots. I'm dead serious. Most of them are intelligent idiots. You might know a whole lot about this narrow area, but any day of the week, okay, you may know that much about that narrow area, but watch how they hold a pair of tools. See how they hold a pair of channel locks. Honestly, in the electrical trade, I know everything I need to know about you just based on how you hold your channel locks. I am dead serious. And Darren would probably tell you the same thing out there. You could tell an awful lot about what that person knows in terms of what they're doing based on how they hold tools. Well, go watch. There's an MD that you and I both know, and it was like watching Forrest Gump. Man, I'm not going to make fun of Forrest, but honestly, watching this guy work with any tools at all was the most agonizing thing in the world. It was the craziest thing in the world. But anyway, folks, don't think for a minute that you have got to somehow, some way fall in line with the mainstream orthodoxy regarding anything. Well, I'm starting to wonder if our guest stood us up.
I think she.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, I'm giving away a bunch of stuff tonight. I'm like,
Did you send her the link?
Yeah, send her the link. She's like, okay, wrote back like, hey, we're going to be. So look, it looks like we're going to have a chat among ourselves tonight. So if y'all got anything in the chat or any questions or whatever, if you had anything regarding any of these projects that we got going on or this big project over there, by all means, let us know. So I'm just going to roll through here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to just have an evening to ourselves if it looks like our guest isn't going to show up. And like I said, maybe, look, you can ask Darren. Every time we get on the phone, we'll get cut off at least 3 times. So maybe this is one of those cases right here. Okay, so.
Is she in a different time zone?
Yeah, but 7 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Eastern. Oh, Homestead Twins. Yeah. I was just thinking about you guys. What did she say? She got scared after hearing. I can't see it. After hearing you for the last half hour. Yeah, well, you know what? She's a tinkerer too, and she invented this little hat I got on. So maybe that's the case, or maybe she thought, I don't know what she thought, but I think she's in the same time as the Homestead Twins. Hacks for the Homesteader. Just because you don't have tools doesn't mean you're a tradesman. Bam. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody said, what did you use for blood pressure? You ain't going to believe this. Man, I got to be real careful about how I say this because this is the kind of stuff they'll throw you off for. Michelle, let's highlight some of this stuff. So it's moving too doggone fast, the chat. So I'll come back to that. So what did I get used to? I can't say it cured anything because they'll just bump me off of here. You ain't going to believe this. Salt. I kid you not. Salt. Everything they tell you, everything they told me to do, was the polar opposite. And then when you check out the work of Dr. Brian Ardis and you look in what's blood pressure medication, what's in there, I guarantee you, you will probably be looking for alternatives yourself. I guarantee it. Yeah, a lot of venom peptides and stuff like that. Yeah, and I kid you not, it was salt. That's what I used, and I take a quarter teaspoon in the morning, noon, and in fact, I eat salt like it's going out of style, and it's amazing how everything. And then also, there's I work out every day. I do this little shuffle for about an hour. I go jogging every day for an hour, but I'm doing it on the balls of my feet. So your calves are basically like another little heart for you. So it's pumping things through and you're getting rid of some of the toxins. So yeah, I mean, that's a really, really awesome way to go about it. But for me, that worked. I ain't telling you how to cure your own. I ain't telling you whatever. But guess what? MDs want to throw pills at me, but I got this information from some Joe Blow off the street. How about that? What do we got? Oh, will rain have an impact on what you're applying to the soil? Yes, a good impact. Maybe, Ken and Amy. Okay, so pretty much all the clouds we have right now. Yeah, I'll come to that moringa thing in a minute because I just took some a little bit ago. Okay, so the rain is actually a blessing in disguise. Hopefully it's not chemically nucleated but every single thing we got up there right now, it's all as a result of chemtrails. Believe it or not, it's going to help drive that biology down deeper into the soil. I was able to put my penetrometer 3 feet down into the soil without obstruction. So that's a good thing. So basically, the rain is only going to drive my biology even further down. And the deeper it goes, the better it's going to survive. And this is why it has to be reapplied until you get to a point to where it can handle itself. It's like when the settlers came here, the first batch didn't survive, okay? But a few of them did. And then they bring in more of them. And then that's exactly how it works with the soil life because we put the nematodes, the protozoa, the arthropods, bacteria, fungi, all of that down in the soil. And later on, we bring friends. So some of them take root, some of them don't make it, and then we keep driving on. Billy, what's your thoughts on moringa?
I just started my detox today with Jax, and that's one thing she put me on is moringa.
Yeah, so I use it all the time down there. We have moringa. I have a moringa extract, and it's really good for chilling you out. That's what I use. I mean, as far as growing moringa, it ain't going to happen in Western North Carolina. And I would not put it under a, what do we call it? I wouldn't put it under a tent or not a tent, high tunnel. Yeah, because those things grow so doggone quick. It'll absolutely blow your mind. So yeah, moringa is fantastic. You can eat just about every part of that plant, if not all of it. I absolutely love moringa. If I lived in a place, if you live in a warmer climate, you can grow moringa, I think you would be crazy to not grow it. It is that fantastic. And man, as far as a awesome survival food, man, you can't go better than that. Well, Gina must have heard me. Her ears must have been itching. I thought she got cold feet here. Michelle, are you going to stick around? Dramatic pause.
I wasn't going to.
Oh, okay. You're going to work on your.
I was going to finish up my salve.
Yeah. So she's making more comfrey salve down there. Okay. Well, I'll drive on a little bit here, and I am going to bring on Gina from Redemption Shield. How you doing?
Good. I'm an hour back from you guys.
Yeah, I figured that. I was like, okay. I said, man, maybe I said some things. She's got a little bit cold feet here.
So glad to be with you, Billy.
Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, Michelle, she gives her best. Yeah, she can't hear you. She doesn't have the earphones on right now. But yeah, glad to have you. Yeah, you got a brother over here sweating because I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I must have said something she didn't like. But I'm like, man, it took this long. All the controversial things I say on this show, and she just now got offended.
I was hearing it in my spirit. I was like, wait. It's 6:30. Oh my gosh.
No, it's all good. Everybody's sticking around. They're all waiting on you, but it's all good.
Hi, everyone.
Well, anyway,
here.
Gina is one of my longest advertisers on this program. I'm going to center up a little bit here and get in a little bit closer. So anyway, Gina's from Redemption Shield, and she owns Redemption Shield, and she is responsible for this little hat that I'm sweating like a runaway slave in right now. Because I had to represent Gina. Why don't you
Good. I'm so glad.
tell them what's so special about this hat, because I wear it in every video I'm outside, and if it's cold, what's so special about this one?
Well, I love that hat because the silver is actually woven into the cotton. A lot of the companies that are making hats will put a lining inside that's really itchy. This cotton is top notch with the silver interwoven through it, and it's super, super soft. So you can't even tell that you're wearing this silver protective material. And for any of you that live near a cell tower, or you have a ton of electronics, this is outstanding. And I've had people who get really sensitive to any electronics, and they get headaches really easily, and they'll put on that hat and the headache will go away instantly. So it's been really helpful for those with EHS or electromagnetic hypersensitive. So there are people who literally can't have Wi-Fi in their house. They get really, really sick. So that's really how this all started. I was sensitive myself because I was doing these really powerful videos that I was using this laptop on my body for hours on end. And I started to get sensitive, and I noticed I had ringing in the ears, which a lot of people complain of. My hands started burning, just holding a simple phone, just little things that started to show up. And now I hear about it all the time, Billy. It's crazy what some people are going through now.
Well, it only seems to be getting worse. The only complaint I got about this hat, and it's really not much of a complaint, if you can come up with a silk version for the permaculture pimp daddy. I mean, I'm not much of a pimp without having silk on. So, yeah, I'll just have to deal with, but hey, I do have silver up in here, so that'll work.
You do.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm glad. I should be wearing it more often, because the truth of it is, especially when I go to town, I mean, I'm around all these hoople heads running around, and they all got cell phones, and they're the brains getting blasted out while they're using these things. And you make products that I use, I mean, that work. And folks, just so you know, the reason why I reached out to Redemption Shield is because I reached out to every company that does this sort of thing. And I said, look, I'm a journeyman electrician. I got a whole lot of experience. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to put your stuff through the test. And out of everybody I reached out to, she was the only one that said, okay, knock yourself out. And if there's anything wrong, let me know. And I was like, okay, is anybody else going to respond? Nobody did. She did. And when you have that kind of ethic, when you work with that kind of operational ethic in your business, okay, you're somebody I want to work with. So, yeah, I can't thank you enough for that. So, Gina, why don't you tell everybody what you've been up to lately, and do you have anything new out there, or is there anything new you could tell us about the EMF world? Because people are being Kentucky fried left and right. I just had a person, I don't know if it was on my show or whether I talked to them privately, a medical professional. No, I think I was listening to another podcast where they were talking about all these young fellas dealing with infertility because they keep taking these phones and they put them in their pockets. Next thing you know, the Franken beans are getting Kentucky fried and they can't have kids. So, I mean, I know you live in this world, so what can you tell us?
Yeah, this is definitely an issue that we're dealing with in our culture and our society as we only ramp up speeds every year. Now we're at iPhone 16 and it just continues. And, before we know it, we're going to be at 6G, which is in the terahertz arena of frequencies. So we're talking about speeds that no one has ever experienced. I know for you and I, Billy, we're in our, late 40s, 50s. We've never seen anything like this. These children growing up now, they're constantly around Wi-Fi in their schools and at home all night long. And their bodies are never getting rest from this. And then they put smart meters on the side of our houses. So it's literally everything. And you can see that there is the depopulation issue. I mean, it's definitely like, okay, let's get these guys to, and even young ladies are putting their cell phones in their pockets, from 11 years old and on. So this is something we've never experienced, and we really don't understand the ramifications of this, and we won't until years down the road. And it's something that we all need to become aware of. This is not going away. It's only going to continue. And there are things you can do. I know I could sit here all day and talk about the problem, but there are solutions. And one thing I love about you and Michelle, Billy, is that you guys understand grounding. And grounding is, in my opinion, 101 to health. This is, if you're just getting your feet wet with natural health, or trying to take care of your family and do things a little differently than what you've been taught all these years, grounding is very critical. And so that is one of the number one things that we have given to our customers around the world, and it's changing their lives. It's changing the lives of their pets, their children, their own lives, where they're sleeping all night long and not waking up 4, 5, 6 times a night. So there's just so many things that we can do, even for our children, is teaching them from a young age that we don't put this powerful little device next to our organs. You've got to have a little single cell phone bag. You can get the cool little fanny packs, which now they wear them across their chest. This is something you can give your kids that's cool. It looks good. Here's another little fanny pack with the cool little logo. And they can wear that just like a Lululemon. It's really popular, but it's got the protection in it. And so these are things that we also need to be thinking of, like this Christmas. I mean, why not give health? Give a grounding mat, give a baseball hat that has a silver lining in it. And this is something no one even has to know that you're wearing silver, and that you're protecting your pineal gland, that you're protecting your head and your brain. How about getting the little stickers that go on the back of your phone? It's so simple. Your kids are going to not care that there's something there, but that can neutralize some of the EMF coming off of your phones. So there's lots of little things that we can start to do. One thing is, let's get rid of the earbuds that we're using that are Bluetooth. Those are probably some of the worst things that we can put in our ears next to our brain. We have these new ear tubes, and these are EMF free. The sound travels through this air tube, and those just go right in your ears. And these are really nice gifts. This is something that's protecting your brain. There's things that you can do that aren't difficult, but you're making little progressive changes. And so those are some of the new things, Billy. It's just simply making those small changes.
You know what, Gina? I'm glad you brought up those ear tubes, because I started using them. I heard Dr. Cruz, Dr. Jack Cruz, talk about, he was the reason I started wearing these blue light blockers. I got, a yellow pair and a red pair for, I can't use the red in here anymore because I can't read anything on this screen.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I started using the yellow because it still blocks I got studio lights and everything else in here. And folks, just so you know, I practice what I preach. This here is a grounding mat that is everywhere. If you come in my house, I promise you, and Gina could probably verify this because I've ordered them. I can't even tell you how many grounding mats. There's one in every bathroom. There's one. I know that seems a little bit weird, but I am G'd up from the feet up, and no kidding, because everywhere you turn around, if you're not grounded, man, you are taking a risk. I really truly believe that. So let me tell you about those what did you call those earbuds?
Those are air tube headsets.
Okay, I started using those.
Air tube,
I'm telling you what, they made all the difference in the world. Like I said, I'm 27-year journeyman electrician, and I know my way around electricity, and I know what happens when you have regular earbuds, or even the ones that are wired to your phone that don't have that. Now, those are shielded in the whole 9 yards. I mean, they're not your garden variety things. I kid you not. When I take off my sweatshirt from working outside on the farm, I get shocked every single time. That's not a good thing. I
No.
wear those, and number one, first of all, the sound quality is better. I think it's much
It
better.
is very nice.
Yeah, I think the sound quality is better. I thought, well, how good could it possibly sound going through a tube like that? There is no way I'm going back. That's exactly what I use when I'm working around. And I can honestly say, I think I feel better. I really do. I think I feel better using those because it is entirely unnatural to be going around here being, jacked up like that all the time. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have anything or do you have anything in the works regarding footwear? Like, let's say a person has a pair of boots or sneakers or whatever the case may be. Do you have any grounding straps or anything like it where you could retrofit, let's say, a pair of sneakers or whatever else to where a person could ground themselves while wearing a pair of shoes they currently have?
Well, I did have something like that when I first started, but I moved away from it because if you step on an electric railroad track, you're not going to be very happy. So I moved away from that just because I have to think of the other side of things. Like, even though it's a great thing, I have to think about that. And so they are out there. You can probably find something like that. You just need to be cognizant that you're putting this silver that's running in through your body. Another thing that I've done in the past, Billy, just kind of looking for alternatives, is I actually took a brass, kind of like a nail almost, but it's not really a nail, but it's brass, and I put it inside my shoe, and but it got a little uncomfortable if I stepped on a rock or something. And so it's just a really tough thing to find something really good for your feet when you're out and about. But I'm telling you, if you ground yourself 8 hours a night while you sleep, if you're grounding yourself when you're at your desk, which I'm constantly grounded, and then when I'm sitting at my couch watching a Christmas movie, I'm using my grounding blanket. And you just snap that, just like you do any grounding mat. And this is a silver material, and that grounds your body. Now, I know you have some new listeners, so I thought, do you want me to show them how the grounding changes in their body?
I would. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you like that. Absolutely, because we got tons of new listeners since the last time you were on. And I think, if you can go ahead and do that little demonstration, are you going to do it with your RF meter?
Yeah, because a lot of people don't even understand, like, what is grounding? Well, grounding essentially is the earth actually has a frequency, and it's a Schumann resonance. And this negative ions that also comes from the earth is healing for your body. That's why when you go to the beach or you go to the ocean and you put your feet in the sand, you get a euphoric feeling. That's because you're getting these little negative ions that are coming up through your feet, and they actually are healing your body. So this is scientific. It's peer reviewed. You can find many studies over the years, over the past 30 years for sure, where grounding has changed people's lives. It removes electricity out of your body. So I'm sitting here in front of my laptop, which is very, there's so much EMF coming off of it. In fact, I can just show you right here. This is how much EMF is right here. So you can just see, just from the sound alone, you can see how much EMF we're constantly around, but we don't have these fancy meters that cost $300 or $400 to really know. So I've had to invest in those things so I can teach other people. But we're around this stuff all the time. And when we do get in a room with 1,000 people and 1,000 cell phones, we'll find that our electricity will go up in our body. And so right now I have 3.1 volts or 3.2 volts in my body right now of electricity. Now, when I touch my grounding mat, actually I'll do it with my blanket because I plugged my blanket in. But when I touch my blanket, it goes down to 0.05. I'm going to let go, and I'm back up to 3.1 volts. I touch my blanket again, And look what happens. All of that electricity leaves my body. It's truly amazing what happens. And now, because Billy, you and I live in these insulated homes, we have rubber sole shoes. We don't have leather shoes like we used to have. You know, we're never grounding. We don't touch the earth as much as we used to. And that's why you and Michelle are always talking about the benefits of grounding. It's amazing.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, when I really got into this and, you know, into the whole biohacking space and started looking into this, I read everything I can get my hands on, whether it was Clint Ober's work, who probably did a lot of the seminal work in the beginnings of this, Dr. Sinatra, and a number of other people out there. And I'm like, hold on, you have got to be kidding me. Down on the coffee table right now is another book I need to get through. But when you look at it's almost as if this was done intentionally by the powers that shouldn't be. Because when I looked at the totality of all the people that were cured of some pretty awful ailments just by grounding, it blew my mind. And now it's just like, you know, now it's starting to become something of a fad, which, okay, if you're going to have a fad, this is a good one to be a part of.
Good one.
Yeah. So all the time, that's why I tell everybody, I mean, there is nothing I do when I get up every single day. I mean, I go through this whole routine, get up out of bed. I was talking a minute ago before you got on, you know, I drink my salt water, I do my thing, and then I do my Bible study, and I guarantee my bare feet are on your grounding mat every single time. And if you don't have a good ground, folks, she even sells the stuff where you can, you know, if you have a place where you don't have a good solid ground, where let's say it's just two prongs, or this is why she also has testers, because there's a lot of times in these houses where they don't hook the ground up properly and it's not going to ground. Every single day as I'm doing my Bible study, I guarantee my bare feet are on that mat every single morning. This is non-negotiable. Every single night I go to bed. A bunch of people were actually asking in the chat, you know, where can they go to get ground? Look, y'all, she's got it right there at the website, redemptionshield.com. Promo code PERMA will get you 10% off. And check this out. I mean, she has the mats, which I prefer. And then I use, you know, as far as the sheets on our bed, I think we use flax, or what do they call that? Linen.
Linen.
Yeah. We use linen because there's other areas where when it comes to frequency, linen's one of the best things you can use, or some other natural fiber. But yeah, it's got one of your mats. I mean, in every single bed in this house, there is a mat. I mean, it is grounded. And people come here and they wonder why they sleep like $1 million. Well, it's not just because we turn the Wi-Fi off at night. And even if you have Wi-Fi, you sell these little covers that we stick over ours that will absolutely, yep, that's it right there. And we put it over our router whenever I remember to put it on there. But you can tell the difference. Your stuff still works. You just don't need the powerful signal that's coming off that thing, when you just need enough to make your stuff operate. And that's about it. So you don't need to get bombarded. So every single chance I get, I mean, I am G'd up from the feet up. And that's exactly why I tell everybody, I mean, as far as Christmas gifts or whatever, if anybody's into that, I mean, you have the best price for the best product out there. And that's why, you know, I'm all about Redemption Shield, y'all. Look, this isn't a way to aggrandize me, although it does help us when you folks go out there. But look, if I'm going to give, this is why I'm doing every single day this week. This is why I'm doing a show on health, because the best gift you're going to give yourself and your family is your health. And it starts with simple things like my grandbaby, Gina. Check this out. You're going to love this one. Every time she was here, every time she would get fussy, I would ground her. I mean, not like people ground kids, you know. Every time, she's a baby, but every time she would get, I kid you not, and my son does it, and he did it the other day. I don't know where this is coming from. Okay. Yeah. Every time she would get fussy, I kid you not, because I saw it in a documentary film, I was like, man, let me just ground her and see what happens. I wish I would have filmed it. But as sure as right as rain, as soon as you would ground her, she just would chill out. Just,
Mhm.
happy, blissful. And then I was like, okay, there's something. Oh, okay, we got the Wi-Fi on. Maybe she's just sensitive to that. And but even around it, if we would just ground her, she was just perfectly fine. I mean, and then these little ones more than anything. There was a lady that did a show just the other day with Doug Hagman of the Hagman Report talking about how deleterious to the health of these children it is to have them around this stuff. So if they have to be in this environment, you know what? Honestly, Gene, if I were sending my kid off to public indoctrination centers called schools these days, I kid you not, I'd be sending them off with a grounding mat and say, son, sit next to a receptacle and get yourself squared away.
Yeah, it's amazing what we're hearing from testimonies of people. And, I just want to just put this out here. I'm a minister. I'm actually, I was a missionary for 7 years in the Philippines. My sole purpose is serving God. And like literally, it's crazy, but I really believe God led me to this business to help thousands of people. It's the craziest thing. Like, I know that this is almost even a ministry of sorts. It's really amazing how God moves. But God wants his people whole. He wants his people healed. And this is one of the simplest things that you can do for your baby, for your pets, for your kids, for your elderly parents. This is so easy. And it doesn't cost a lot. I really have tried to keep the prices really reasonable and still be able to help people like Billy and Michelle, who are working their butts off helping people after Hurricane Helene. I mean, it's just unbelievable what you've done, Billy. I really, really want to commend you for how God has used your family to minister to so many people. And I'm getting choked up because this is so important. As we go into 2025, we need to be thinking about the health of our loved ones. We need to be thinking about helping those around us and how we can do that. And God has given me this amazing gift to be able to source these wonderful products. I mean, there were no blankets on the market when I started. This was purely from the Lord. I mean, he was like, you know what? You need to make some sort of a blanket. That would be a really good thing. Like, no one had blankets when I started. It's amazing how many people have copied me. But, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about my competitors because I know I'm meant to be doing this. And I know that the proceeds and things are going to good things. And it's a pleasure to be a partner with you and your wife. And I'm just so thankful for what God has done. And, it's truly amazing. Like I tune in to what God has done in my life in 4 years. I mean, Billy, I had poor health. I thought I was going to die 4 or 5 years ago. I sleep like a baby now. I never wake up. And I'm sorry I'm getting choked up, but please just know my heart is so big for all of you, and for Billy and your wife. It's just so big, and I'm truly grateful to have these things to help people. It thrills my heart to be able to hear the testimonies. I'm telling you, probably 1,000 5-star reviews. I very rarely get anything lower than a 4. I mean, it's very rare. And it's usually just because people don't understand. They don't understand the product or maybe something like that. But most of the time, people are so changed by grounding their family and doing these small little things, and I'm always looking for new ideas. So if you get ideas, let me know. But one thing I'm so excited about is I actually have new navy grounding sheets. They're like a dark blue. And I'm excited about those. Those are coming out. They're not yet on the site in singles, but you can get them in like a bulk size, like where you buy the whole set. But these are new. These ear air tubes are new. Like, I'm always looking for new ideas so that I can bless the people around me. And yes, it's a business. And I know you're not trying to make money, Billy, but you need to have money. You need to be able to help the people around you. And, so please go today to redemptionshield.com and use the code PERMA, because that just goes right back to Billy and Michelle. And it's a blessing for all of us. It's a blessing for you, for Billy and his wife, for me. And think of all the people that Billy's helping right now. I mean, I could just preach right now.
No, it's all good. I thank you for the kind words. And, at the end of the day, we got to put bread on the table too. It's not like YouTube's paying me because of the things we talk about. I mean, the powers that shouldn't be don't want this stuff talked about. I mean, and shows like this, they're not going to go out of their, thank God we got a massive audience in terms of just, we do it live now. Whereas we just kind of, for a while there, we just did it in the audio platform. But that's where the biggest audience is, really, in just the audio platform, because people are out there working in their yards, doing whatever it is they do. Well, you need to be doing it on these new earbuds, on these ear. I'm telling you what, I mean, I practice what I preach when it comes to this stuff. I wear this hat. I use the grounding mats everywhere. I sleep grounded all night long. And I think it's 10 times more important, folks, if you find yourself in an environment where you can't escape it. For example, let's say you live in an apartment, or you live in homes where you don't live in an environment like I do, where you can't even see your next door neighbor. Let's say you got your Wi-Fi turned off, but your neighbor doesn't. Well, it's little things like this. They seem like little things, but they are massive when it comes to your health and all the other things, that you want to try to accomplish in your life. Well, Gina, look, good night, man. It's been such a joy to have you, but I guess we better get down to brass tacks. Were you still interested in giving away some stuff?
I would love to bless 5 people tonight. And Billy, I don't know how you want to do that. Let's give away, let's do 5 computer mats. And we'll start with that right away. I don't know if you have a way you want to do that, but I would like to bless 5 people right away with computer mats. And what do you want to do, Billy? How do you want them to win?
Yeah, I got this. Okay, so check this out. I don't know if this is a computer mat or not.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm not using it for what it's supposed to be used for, because I use it as a floor mat. I put my feet on it.
I use it on the floor too. So you can use it on the floor for your feet. You can use it under your laptop. You can sit on it. Like, you can use it in so many ways. So we just call it a computer mat. Well,
I'll tell you a really good way of going about it too, and it mitigates so much from your folks. I kid you not. If you got a laptop or a tablet or anything and you stick it on your lap, put that thing down first. I mean, honestly, there are so many different ways you can go about mitigating some of these negative effects if you got to work on this thing, or in your office environment. Okay, let's say it's not cool. Let's say your feet smell like some funky corn chips or whatever the case may be, and you can't take your shoes off. Well, you can always stick it out. Look, your forearms could be hitting this thing. And there's so many different ways you can go about this and keep yourself squared away. You're going to feel so much better. Well, Gina, I can't thank you so much for doing this. Well, the audience pretty much knows how we roll at this point. And I'm going to drop out a permaculture question that was probably covered on this show. And whoever comes across the answer first, how about they'll be the winner? Should I have them reach out to you, or
email me their address and say I was a winner on the show, permaculture, and we'll get that out to you.
Okay. All right. First question. What does the word permaculture stand for? Okay. Let's see who's going to get this one. What does the word permaculture stand for? Oh, come on, y'all. You got to represent out here. Are you kidding me? This is the Permaculture Pimpcast. Come on. Oh, who wrote permanent agriculture? Monica, you won.
Woohoo!
Way to go, Monica. Okay.
Good job, Monica.
Hopefully y'all didn't have to Google that. Okay, here's the next one. This is another softball. We only got 5 winners here. Okay, who was the founder, one of the founders of permaculture? There's two of them, but name one. Da, 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 da. This is where editing really would help in my case right now. Okay, Susquehanna Homestead. There you go. Okay, you were the first one I saw. Susquehanna Homestead. Reach out to Gina. And
redemptionshield@gmail.com. redemptionshield@gmail.com.
Now, if you don't win tonight, you're going to have to use the promo code PERMA to get that discount. So, okay. The first person who can tell me what is the third ethic in permaculture? Da, 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 da. Yeah, we're past Bill Mullison at this point. The third ethic in permaculture. Okay, who's going to be the first one to tell me that? All right. I think this thing might have something of a little bit of a delay because I know fair share. Renewed Homestead said fair share, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. It's got to be Earth Care, People Care. I don't do the fair share thing because that sounds too close to communism. Okay, Amy B, you won. Return to the prior two. Yep. So it's Earth Care, People Care, and abundance given to the previous two. I know a lot of people say fair share, but I don't use that because it sounds like communism. All right. So how many was that, Gina? Was that three?
That was three.
Three? Okay. Oh, let's see if we got another. Let's see if we have another. Okay. Here's another. This should be a softball for so many out there. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I just thought of a good one for the third one or for the final one. Okay. What is the purpose of a swale? What is the purpose of a swale? SWALE. Bill, you ought to be jumping all over this one. Come on. I know some of you people know this. You've sat through my classes on this one. What is the purpose of a swale? Oh, Tom Angle, water catchment. There you go. All right. Now, this is for all the marbles. This is number 5.
I'm going to give away some more after this, so keep going.
Oh, you got more after this. Okay.
I've got a couple more things I want to give.
Okay. Number 5. What does the acronym PIMP stand for? Okay, there's got to be somebody that gets this one. Okay, yeah, we moved on past. Oh, Joshua, you got it. Permaculture is my passion. So it's not a bad word when we say the Permaculture Pimp Cast. So everybody reach out to Gina over there. Okay, Gina, that's 5. What else you got?
Email me at redemptionshield@gmail.com. And then I want to give away a gray fanny pack and a black one. So let's start with the gray one first. And when you email me, let me know what you won.
Yeah, and it better not be more than no, we got a pretty honest audience out here. So okay. Somebody tell me what is a perennial plant? What is a perennial plant? Yeah, it's kind of a loaded question, but the first one that can jump on it. What is a perennial plant? Yep, lives multiple years. Dusty and Chelsea McClain. Yep. You're the first one I saw. Dusty and Chelsea. Okay. Yeah. So you got a fanny pack. I guess y'all gonna have to share that.
Do the black fanny pack.
Okay. Okay. What zone would you put? Okay. Yeah, this could be a little bit of a loaded question. Okay. What is what zone does your home in the permaculture zones? What would your home be? What zone would that be? What zone would your home be? Yep, Rodney Todd, you got it. Zone 0. All right. So what did Rodney win? The other fanny pack?
He won the black fanny pack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Rodney, yeah, with that black fanny pack, bro, you could put that on in a pair of Velcro shoes and you'd look like that apprentice they sent over my house one time. I kid you not, dude.
They're great for traveling. Really great.
Yeah, but not working on the farm. He shows up in Velcro
Hey,
shoes
even
and
on
a
the
fanny
farm.
pack. Yeah. So, yeah, no more apprentices.
Okay, last two. We're going to give away 2 baseball hats. We're going to do the R logo. And you're going to have to tell me this. You won the R logo baseball hat. Okay. We'll do this
Okay.
one first.
All right. All right. So the R logo baseball hat. All right. So what zone does wilderness represent? What permaculture zone does wilderness represent? Yeah, come on. Yep, Reese H, you got it. Zone 5. There are 5 zones in permaculture. Okay.
All right. And the last one is a baseball hat with a cross and an American flag.
Oh yeah, we got to love this one. America. All right. So somebody named the other founder of permaculture, and it wasn't Bill Mollison. Who was the other one? Come on. The other founder of permaculture, and it wasn't Bill Mollison, although I think Bill ought to take credit all by himself. Nope, it wasn't Jeff Lawton. Nope, it was not Jeff Lawton. David Holmgren, Renewed Homestead. Yeah, Renewed Homestead. You got it. Well, people are going to think I rigged that one because they're also the Renewed Homestead got that one. But that's legit. I didn't tell them that. David Holmgren. I can never say that right. But anyway, yeah, Renewed Homestead. You were the first one that popped up on there. So it was Bill Mollison and David Holmgren. And that's going to do it for our giveaway, right?
Awesome. So we gave away 2 hats, 2 fanny packs, and 5 computer mats. Woohoo!
Oh, you are fantastic. Thank you so much for doing all that. For all you people that were unfortunate and didn't get in time, a lot of you got the right answer, but you weren't the first on the draw. Look, if you need anything for Christmas, look, this is why I'm doing, this is Health Week, okay? You want the best gift to give away to somebody for Christmas? I kid you not. This is exactly what we gave away. We don't celebrate Christmas or any other holiday except for Thanksgiving and 4th of July, really, around here. I don't have any opposite. I mean, you can do what you want. The thing of it is that I give these things away as gifts. I got a friend in Missouri. I gave him the sheets, and I have another friend down in South Carolina. I gave them, what did I give them? I think it was a mat. Look, the mat is the one I like. It's my favorite. And it's just the way I roll. I will not sleep without it. And that thing gets plugged in every single night. And I'm telling you what, on the nights where I forget, because the reason I have to plug mine in every night, Gina, is because I have a dedicated ground that goes across the room. I mean, this is the most ghetto thing you ever seen in your life. But I have it going to its own ground rod outside.
Nice.
It's dedicated. So I have to remember to hook it up every night. But I mean, small price to pay for a good night's sleep, huh?
Hey, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, I just don't want the harmonics with the other things that I have going on right there. I mean, it's probably an overkill. I'd probably do just fine if I had it go into a regular outlet. But this is my world. This is what I do. And I thought, okay, I want to make sure I rock this thing out as best I can and do it with as little interference. But yeah, that is non-negotiable every single night, which is why Michelle's cat's trying to jump up on this bed half the time. The animals,
Hey, your animals will love grounding. Don't forget your pets this Christmas. Like, get them a little grounding mat. The computer one, or there's even one that's 10 by 12. You can just put that right in their bed. And then just hide that cord from them, because sometimes they like to play with the cord. But tape it down or whatever. But yeah, definitely think of that. But Billy, I just want to again thank you so much. I'd like to pray for you and your wife really quick, and everyone listening. Would you guys be okay if I prayed for Billy?
Absolutely, please do.
Father, we're just so grateful for this family, for what they have done during this time. Father, I pray that you would bless Billy and Michelle, their family, every single person in their family. Father, we pray that you'd bless this podcast and everything that they do, they put their hands to do, Father, that you would bless it indeed. And Lord, I pray for everyone listening tonight, Lord, as we get ready to go into 2025. We're praying health for our families. We pray, Lord, that you would lead and guide us this coming year, and that you would lead us through this exciting time as we see a new president come in. Lord, we're praying for our country. We bless the United States of America, Father. We pray, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much, Billy.
Well, this is a first for a number of things, and I think you're the first one to openly pray on this podcast, and I couldn't be more pleased about it. So that just made my day. Thank you so much, Gina. And man, you're such a wonderful person. And folks, she does some fantastic stuff. And then honestly, the fantastic discounts and fantastic things that she does. And everybody in the chat is saying amen. And
Amen.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, Gina, thank you so much for being on this show, y'all. And I want to thank everybody in the chat tonight. Remember, if you're looking for anything for Christmas or any other holiday thing, or honestly, just getting yourself squared away and grounded. I've done a lot of DIY stuff, which I guess, it's arguable as to whether or not it works out. The copper sheets just turned my mattress a different color. So maybe the DIY thing ain't the way to roll. So maybe go over there, get some of these silver sheets and blankets and everything else that Gina has, y'all. Till next time, stay alert, stay alive.
They don't want an individual, just a carbon copy. You spitting that manicotti, yeah, I'm talking saucy. All they want to build is a prison world full of pet Tamagotchis. The kamikaze got me out of body like I'm Goku SS3. They want to push me to the center like a cell. They want to spin up at the center of the nexus. Me.